Hello and welcome to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski. And in this podcast, I talk about ways for you to grow in your life and your business to make more money if you are a coach, course creator, or mentor. What I want to talk about here today is beating procrastination, especially when we don't feel ready to do something. How many of y'all feel that way? I know what it's like because I have experienced this for years myself. In fact, even before I recorded this podcast, I was like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I don't know what I want to talk about. And it happens to me daily with almost every task that I have to do. If I let it defeat me, I can take weeks or even months between doing the things that I need to do. And that's where I find that a lot of people are in their businesses, is that they end up doing that. And so here's what I do to help me with this. And I hope that you find some wisdom in what I'm about to share. Because in our businesses, we only get what we prioritize, what is important to us. And the truth is that it's nothing to beat ourselves up over. It's nothing to get angry at ourselves over. It's just that other stuff is more important. And that's the truth, is that other stuff is oftentimes more important. You know, this week I had some different stuff going on with my family that were important, that we had to take care of, that I had to do, had to put off some different things. That was important. I don't want to go out there and be this guy that just says, well, my business is more important, so my family takes second seat. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm the one in control of my life and that I'm not letting my feelings control what I'm doing. And that's where we want to get to. Oftentimes, when we don't feel ready to do something because it doesn't feel right, we end up letting it sit on the back burner and we don't even notice it. And the worst part is that we can do this for months and months and months at a time and think that we're making progress. And so the way out of this is to actually take a look at, what am I actually getting done that's moving the needle forward for me in my business, in my goals? And I have a thing, I call it the law of 14 days, not taking longer than about 14 days and reevaluating, okay, how much progress did I make in that 14 days time? Were there certain behaviors that I had? Were there certain situations that came up? I had a situation with a client that I was working with that completely derailed some of my confidence. And it was a situation that was related to something that used to happen to me years ago that hasn't come up in a long time. And I had to say, whoa, okay, people pleasing has gotten the best of me. Again, thought I had beaten that boss, but now I got to do it again. And I got to go after it. And I can't let it beat me. And so one of the best things that you can do when you feel like procrastinating, when you feel like you're not ready to do something, is break it down into smaller steps and just get started on one step. One of the things that I do, especially when I'm procrastinating on recording content or writing sales copy or editing a landing page or writing an email or any number of the things that we do in our business that we're like, oh, I just don't feel ready yet to do, is I just start doing it. And you might say, well, if I don't know how to do it, what do I start doing? You're overthinking it way too hard. Start the action. Like I'm talking about, move your body physically to open up the program on your computer, open up the camera, open up the recorder, start recording, press record. And here's the cool part about it. You can delete it later. You can get rid of it. If it didn't work, you can throw it aside. You know, last week I was recording a course and I had to press record 3 times because I kept stumbling over my words. But I'm telling you, the third time I did it, it came out great and it was awesome. I was too caught up in my head the first couple of takes. And, you know, years ago, I used to then beat myself up and I wasn't ready and it took me hours to get ready as far as that goes. No, just move on quickly. See yourself, a vision of yourself, doing the thing that you're stuck doing. Start imagining in your mind that you're actually doing that thing that you're stuck doing. So like this podcast episode right here, right before I was about to record it, I had like 3 or 4 podcast ideas, okay? And this one was actually the best one because I was like, oh, wait a sec, I got a great in-the-moment example to give people for this. I was like, oh, what do I want to talk about? Oh, it's 4:30. Oh, we gotta be somewhere in an hour. Baby's taking a nap, so this is a great time for me to record a podcast. Oh, but this couch feels comfortable. And literally, I did that for like 10 minutes. Okay? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go sit in this chair, and I'm going to press record, and we're going to start it. We're going to start getting going. And I can tell you that behavior of just getting it going, starting the process. I've been recording for 5 minutes? It's coming out great. I think this podcast is one of the best ones I've ever done. In fact, because I started to take action. and I took action, and I did the thing that I knew that I wanted to do. Now, before I stepped into it, I saw myself recording a podcast confidently. I knew the baseline of what I was going to talk about. I picked something. I knew there were 5 other ideas that I had, but I went after it, and I chose to do one of those ideas, not being worried if the other 5 ideas don't happen. And then I started doing the thing that I needed to do, pressing record, starting to talk, starting to communicate. And I can tell you in my career, in my business, over the years, whenever I've done that, things have gone really, really well for me. They've worked out well. They've come together overall in the way that I want them to. And whenever I've sat around and I've said, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. I'm not sure if I feel ready yet. I've struggled with that. And we can get so caught up in even trying to analyze why we're procrastinating. Oftentimes it's because we feel uncomfortable. Can I tell you this? In business, you're going to feel uncomfortable in most of the stuff that you got to do, that you got to do, that you got to do. But by doing it, while you feel uncomfortable, while you feel scared, while you feel nervous, not being worried, am I going to bomb it? Am I going to say everything perfect? Is it going to come out perfect? And also, by the way, believing that you're actually going to do it well, actually getting your mind to believe that taking action in something, starting something is actually the right way to do it, not over planning, not overthinking, not over analyzing, not having all the pieces figured out, but being willing to just get started with something. To put yourself out there publicly, to get it going. And the other thing too is get some help, get some support in some of the things that maybe you're a little bit stuck on. Maybe you're wondering about an idea or two. Call up a friend, talk out some things. Well, not that friend that's negative all the time, but one that you can talk through and process things with. Or in my coaching program, we have people you can literally bring your content, your courses, your ideas, all those things, no matter what you're doing throughout the day, into our program and ask questions about it. And I'm there, our group is there to help you along the way. The reason we procrastinate is because there's some kind of discomfort that we're trying to avoid and we're not sure what's going to happen. And can I tell you this? The more often you just don't let that thing stop you. See what happens is we actually create habit frameworks in us. If I have a habit of I'm going to get started and I'm going to constantly procrastinate on this thing, it becomes 10 times harder the next time to do that thing that we procrastinated on. I notice this in the gym. I notice this with healthy eating. I notice this in my business. And what it is that we end up literally creating our own world of excuses and reasons why we can't do the thing. Oh, I'm not ready yet. I don't know if this software is ready yet. I heard somebody say they haven't built their site because they're waiting for a feature to come on some software that's out there when there's 10 other softwares that are out there they could have built something on. Can I tell you this? We can always come up with reasons to delay the inevitable of what we need to do. The hard work of when it comes to business is taking action on the stuff that you know that you should do, but you're not ready yet to do. And you're not even sure how it's going to turn out. And quite frankly, your brain is coming up with all the ways it could go wrong. And yet you still do it anyways to put yourself out there. And I stand before you here today. Listen, I tell you, I do a lot better at this than most people. But I fail every day at it at the same time. I'm consistent all the time with building my business, with getting stuff going, with creating the stuff that I want to create in my business. And yet at the same time, I fail every single day and procrastinate. And I got to pick myself up intentionally. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth just once. You do it again and again and again, like your health. And that's what it is that a healthy business owner is consistent. And they learn to create habits that are consistent. You know, it's interesting. I was reading the book Atomic Habits. It's actually a really, really great book. I resisted this book for a long time. I thought it was silly. For some reason, I thought it was silly. And then I read it like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, my goodness, it's one of the best books that's out there. Is that our brain creates these little habits. When it talks about atomic habits, I thought it was like an atomic bomb. Like really big habits. And I was like, ugh, gosh. No, it's about the little things that you do that compound over time. The little stuff. If you're just 1% better each day with your habits, that's going to compound to 100% better after 4 months. Again and again and again, that process. These aren't just arbitrary numbers. This is reality. And so when you can look at, okay, what behaviors am I doing? What is the little triggers? What are the things that I'm feeling internally? We start to take account for what those are. And then we have a habitual action that we do when those things come up. You know, for the longest time I was struggling in my house, in my daily life, to get things organized and stuff like that. Because I had a habit of letting my feelings take over my actions. And we do this naturally. All of us do this. If your business, if you haven't launched it, if you don't have leads coming in your business and you're not selling to people every single week in your business to get more clients, there are habits that you are procrastinating on that have taken over that you need to start to take account for. Start to become accountable to yourself, and maybe have an accountability partner like in a coaching program to help you with. This is one of the things that we help you with inside of my accelerator program, is to hold you accountable for the things that you have committed to do. Listen, I know that you can accomplish your goals. And listen, I know when you go out there, sometimes things don't go the way that we want. Sometimes they fail. Sometimes things don't work out. But the more resilient you get, develop a resiliency habit where when things don't go how you want, you change your reaction. It's okay. I'm going to get back up again. You know, today, my day-to-day didn't go how I wanted it to. It happened. So I can give you 1,000 reasons why it had to go the way that it did, but it didn't go how I wanted. And for a split second, I got into complaining and whining and feeling frustrated that my day didn't go how I wanted it to. Bless God, why did it not go how I wanted it to? And then I realized, is that helping nobody? No, it's not, but it's an addiction that I had to that feeling of complaining. We become addicted to our excuses and our should-dos. And we often justify it as a spirit of excellence even. When in fact, it's just breaking it down, smaller steps. What's that thing that I've been putting off? What's that thing that I need to take action on, that I need to get started on, that I need to stop putting off, and start moving the needle forward in my life to start to see things come together for me. And when you can do this, you start to see the results come in like wildfire. And it's amazing what ends up happening when we do this. My friends, I'm excited for you. And I want you, some of you might need to re-listen to this every day for 3 days. In the morning and even at night. It's short enough, 13 minutes long. Start to get you motivated, to start to get you realizing that. And here's one of the things that I like to do before bed that helps me with my habits. I take a look and I say, okay, tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. And in the morning, I think about, this is what didn't work yesterday. It didn't work yesterday for me to worry about this situation. It didn't work for me yesterday for me to complain about this situation. It didn't work for me yesterday to sit around for an hour until I felt like doing the thing that I needed to do. I just got to get started with it. I just got to take action with it. I just got to do the thing and start to see things come together for me. And I'll tell you, you know what? Every time I do that, things start coming together real well for me. And anytime I'm waiting to feel good enough for it to happen, listen, I get it. Sometimes we just don't feel good enough. That's when I'll go do something else. I'll go distract myself for a little bit to start to feel better, and then I'll come back to it. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to say, okay, what's happening? What am I trying to avoid? What's internally the struggle that's going on? You might not find it right now today. It might take you a week to figure it out. It might take you 3 days to figure it out. For me, it's about 2 to 3 days. As I'll be like, okay, what's going on here? And then about 3 days later, I figure out what's actually really going on beneath the surface. And so listen, life happens. Things happen. We are on a constant journey of growth to become better today than we were yesterday. I believe in you, and I know that you can do this. And I know that you can accomplish anything that you want to. But you got to choose to take action even when it doesn't feel good. Even when you don't feel ready. Even when it doesn't feel like the right timing. That's where the beauty and magic happens in life. All right? Listen, share this with somebody. Don't hold this to yourself. If you know somebody who maybe is struggling to have the kind of life that they want, help them see what I've shared in this video. Share this podcast episode with them. Help them to see what's going on. And I want to help you reach your goals. In my Accelerator program, we work with our clients every single week to reach their goals, to help them get more clients in their coaching business, to help them sell more of their coaching programs and their courses, their mentorship. And I'd love to help you as well to get unstuck, to start to make the kind of cash flow that you want in your business. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski. This is the Grow Your Life Podcast. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.